Around 4000 BCE, highly organized cities began to rise from the mud of Mesopotamia. In a remarkably short window, a scattered primitive population built a sprawling, architecturally complex civilization. They developed complex sexagesimal mathematics, laid out intricate urban grids, and established rigid, codified laws to govern tens of thousands of citizens. And to manage all of it, they created the world's earliest written language, cuneiform. This tablet shows the precise, wedge-shaped columns of text scribes etched into wet clay. Hundreds of thousands of these specific texts survive today, offering an unbroken, meticulously detailed historical record. We have an intact, physical account of how this sudden explosion of genius happened. The problem is that the people studying these records often view them through a lens that ignores their literal content. Mainstream historians read these cuneiform tablets and see accounts of sky gods and engineered humans. They typically categorize these detailed reports as primitive, poetic mythology. Author Zecharia Sitchin proposed a shift in perspective. He argued that our modern bias for metaphor prevents us from seeing what the Sumerians actually wrote. If we read the Sumerian tablets as literal, historical documentation, a completely different timeline of the human story emerges. Stripping away the metaphorical layer reveals a terrifyingly coherent account of extraterrestrial intervention. Consider Enki and Ninmah. Academics classify this thousands of years old text as a standard creation myth. The text describes gods shaping humans from clay. While historians view this as a symbolic explanation for our origins, Sitchin identifies a more technical process. In this literalist reading, clay is the Sumerian term for base genetic material. Enki, the extraterrestrial scientist, used this material to manipulate the human genome. The tablets describe a very specific goal. The Anunnaki engineered a hybrid biological workforce designed specifically to mine gold. Viewed this way, humanity began as a manufactured labor asset designed for the resource needs of an off-world empire. This biological purpose reframes the physical infrastructure of Sumer. The massive scale of their architecture suggests a function beyond simple religious devotion. This is the Great Ziggurat of Ur. Its geometric scale and stepped, platform-like design are often attributed to temple worship. Sitchin argues these structures were highly sophisticated communication hubs and landing beacons for Anunnaki spacecraft, with the flat upper tiers serving as functional landing pads. The development of cuneiform follows this pattern. It provided a simplified administrative script for human scribes to manage the logistics of the occupation. Even the famous Code of Ur-Nammu operates as a legal framework designed to maintain order and docility within an engineered workforce. Based on the functional design of the ziggurats and the restrictive nature of the legal codes, the early achievements of Sumer reflect the requirements of a top-down administrative occupation. The Sumerians kept rigid data logs of the night sky. This tablet is a section of the Enuma, Anu, and Lil, a highly complex astronomical record. Modern science describes the text's mention of Nibiru as a mistranslation of the planet Jupiter, or perhaps a distant star. Sitchin's literal decoding identifies Nibiru as a rogue planet with a massive 3,600-year elliptical orbit that periodically intersects our solar system. The Sumerian records explicitly document this rogue planet as the cosmic homeworld of the Anunnaki. This degree of astronomical precision served a singular purpose: tracking the orbital mechanics of the returning homeworld. The Sumerian king list explicitly documents rulers who reigned for tens of thousands of years. If these were biological entities who eventually departed, their exit created a massive power vacuum. This departure forced the remaining human populations to reorganize their leadership. Ancient human elites maintained their authority by repurposing the legacy of the Anunnaki. They shifted the focus from historical, physical architects to invisible, infallible gods. The king list already blended the celestial and the terrestrial. The priests simply codified that overlap as religion to secure their own power. Modern scientific and academic establishments maintain this separation, rejecting Sitchin's literalism to protect institutional credibility. Validating these texts would require a total collapse of established historical models. The psychological stakes are even higher. Acknowledging that we are engineered laborers from a rogue planet would destabilize our religious, scientific, and social frameworks. humanity continues to suppress the Anunnaki truth because we are terrified of our own cosmic insignificance. Reclassifying these clay tablets as historical data logs provides a different perspective on the sudden rise of human civilization. As long as we treat humanity's first written words as fables, we remain willful people end to our true origins. Far from myth, these ancient clay records explicitly preserve the administrative history of the Anunnaki's time on Earth. The cradle of civilization was built for the needs of an empire. The story of humanity belongs to the stars.